Happening now with students headed back to school in just days, safety is at the top of mind. A look at how one district is addressing concerns. And 2 victims were airlifted following a motorcycle crash in Chautauqua County yesterday, the latest in the police investigation. Plus, we check in with local grape growers ahead of their upcoming harvest.
Live and on demand, this is WNY News Now.
Thank you for joining us for WNY News Now. I'm Justin Gould. Those stories and more are coming up, but first, in light of recent mass shootings nationwide, educators here in Chautauqua County are working to step up school security ahead of the first day of class next week. Our Bronson Rasmussen joins us live in the newsroom with more on what educators are working to address here. Bronson?
That's right, Justin. Educators at Faulkner Central School are ready for classes to resume. However, are working to address one final concern before students return: the lack of a student resource officer on campus this fall.
We're pretty excited. The last 2 years have been extremely difficult for kids and for our county and our community, but we've got great people that are working together, and we can overcome a lot of major things.
While the school is ready to teach, their main concern this fall is student safety.
Safety is definitely a number one concern. We all watch the news and know what's going on in the world, so I think we really need to take the safety of our students seriously, and I think tonight we've taken a measure to really work on that for this district.
So yeah, I mean, as Mr. Schrader has pointed out, law enforcement, much like education, is experiencing shortages. And we need to, once again, support our law enforcement, support our schools, and we're fortunate. Our Faulkner community has done that and continues to do that.
Previously, the district had an agreement with the town of Ellicott for an SRO on school grounds. That contract, however, expired and was not renewed during the summer break. To remedy this, former Board of Education President Todd Beckering, who had resigned earlier in the week, is taking on a role as a school safety advisor for the district.
When the school sought the need to find additional coverage, we sought out the civil service list, and he was on the list, and he's willing and able and very excited about the opportunity to protect our kids and put his life on the line in case something does happen.
The new safety advisor will be on hand at the school's 3 buildings throughout the day. And while that seems like a lot of ground to cover for one person, the district is also looking to roll out a program similar to Jamestown Public Schools' Red Shirt staff, where at least 2 trained armed persons will be on the school grounds at all times. Live in the newsroom, Bronson Rasmussen, WNY News Now.
Bronson, thank you. 2 Chautauqua County residents have been indicted by a federal grand jury for drug trafficking. The U.S. Attorney's Office announced the legal action against 41-year-old Alicia Klinger of Mayville and 36-year-old Jacob Snow of Jamestown. The 2 are accused of conspiring with each other to sell fentanyl between November 2020 and April of 2022. The indictment also accuses them of stealing drugs and cash from others engaged in illegal drug trafficking and brandishing firearms while doing so. The charges carry a mandatory minimum penalty of 17 years in prison and a maximum of life. 2 people were airlifted to regional medical centers following a motorcycle accident in southern Chautauqua County yesterday. New York State police troopers on scene tell our crew that a male operator and his female passenger were traveling southbound on Route 62 in the town of Kyantone around 3 o'clock when the single vehicle accident occurred. Now, 2 separate medical helicopters were called to that scene to transport them. Police did not have an immediate medical condition on the victims. As of publication, a preliminary investigation did reveal that the riders likely lost control of their bikes moments before crashing them alongside the roadway. An inquiry to determine the specific reason why the bikes crashed remains ongoing. Route 62 was closed for around an hour while crews worked that scene. And a fundraiser to promote motorcycle safety is taking place this weekend in Faulkner. It's hosted by Dwyas Auto Service, and proceeds from the bike detail fundraiser will benefit new riders taking the motorcycle safety school course. This event is in memory of 23-year-old Randolph resident Austin Schaefer, who passed away over the summer during a motorcycle crash in Pennsylvania. Now, in addition to a free hot dog lunch, motorcycle detailing will also be taking place with a $25 flash detail featuring a wash, wipe down. Walk-ins are welcome. Furthermore, in what normally would be a $200 service, the experts at DeWias are now selling a $100 full spiff detail included in that wash, decontamination and clay bar wipe of exterior surfaces of your bike, along with a wax and chrome polish. This fundraiser is happening Friday from noon to 5, Saturday from 8 to 2 at the Harley-Davidson in Jamestown. That's at 1951 East Main Street in Falconer. Well, election 2022 coverage now. The Republican candidate for New York governor made a campaign stop in Lakewood yesterday, calling out his opponent for her bail reform policies and definition of a real New Yorker. Our Alyssa Wright joins us live in studio with more on our 2022 election coverage. Alyssa.
Justin, Lee Zeldin met with his supporters at Group They're Happy, where he really doubled down on the slogan, Save Our State. The downstate congressman is referring to the many businesses and residents of New York that are packing up and moving away because of, as what he describes, unjust bills and policies put in place by his Democratic opponent, current Governor Kathy Hochul.
New York leads the entire nation in population loss because. Now you all know the answer to that. I know the answer to that. I actually don't know if Kathy Hochul knows the answer. New York leads the entire nation in population loss is because New Yorkers are hitting their breaking point.
Zeldin feels there are many different reasons New Yorkers are reaching this breaking point.
We have to save our state. Right now, New York leads the entire nation in population loss. People feel like their wallets are under attack, their freedom, their safety. I hear from parents talking about the quality of their kids' education. They're deciding to leave the state, and it's not a temporary move.
He calls out his opponent, Kathy Hochul, and her current policies.
Right now, Kathy Hochul is not getting the job done. She's been extremely divisive in saying that if you challenge her, you're not even a New Yorker and you have to leave the state.
Whether a Republican or Democrat, Zeldin wishes to work with everyone to make the Empire State a better place.
It doesn't matter whether you're a Republican, Democrat, Independent. These are issues that are important for all New Yorkers. This is about all New Yorkers together, working together to save New York, and I look forward to working with any New Yorker.
Lee Zeldin and his running mate Allison Esposito will face Governor Kathy Hochul and Lieutenant Governor Antonio Delgado in this fall's general election, which is on Tuesday, November 8th. For more local election coverage, check out our website, WNYNewsNow.com, and click on the Election 2022 banner. Reporting live in studio, Alyssa Wright, WNY News Now.
Listen, thank you very much. Well, now let's switch gears and get a first check of our weather forecast. Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter standing by with that. And yeah, another beautiful day on tap there, looking over Randolph's Peaches and Cream in Whedon Park.
Yes, it is. It is another fantastic day out there. We're going to have more sunshine than we did yesterday. You can see the clear blue skies back behind me from the Randolph Peaches and Cream sky cam. Just a few high clouds dotting the sky, and that's pretty much what we're going to see through the afternoon hours today. Not a whole lot on the satellite and radar composite today, so it's just going to be a fantastic day, and happy meteorological fall, by the way. And so we are not officially into fall yet. The solstice doesn't occur until the 23rd, but this is when we start keeping weather records for fall. Ragweed pollen still up there in the moderate category. Thanks to Dr. Fred Lewis out in Olean for that report. 72 was the high yesterday, started the day at 55, 94, and 38 are the records. So through the afternoon, the yellow star is smiling down on you today. A few high clouds at times. If you're on the highest hill, 67. That's a nice preview of your fall. The 75 near the lakeshore, but the heat does return, but the humidity does stay in check. We'll talk about it with the Ultimate Satellite Solutions 7-day later in the show. Justin?
Yeah, certainly the first day of September, but we know that those August-like temps not too far away. Dakota, thank you. Coming up, a look at a new bill aiming to increase a tax exemption for clothing and footwear here locally. And later we break down a series of new gun laws that now take effect in New York. Stay with us. WNY News Now is back after this.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news.
This Sunday, Collaborative Children's Solutions, in conjunction with the City of Jamestown, is hosting a fireworks show in celebration of Labor Day to help assist those who may be sensitive to noise created, whether that would be an individual, a child, or pet. We have free headphones and a calming blanket available to those within a 2-block radius of Bergman Park in Jamestown, New York. To reserve your gear ahead of this Sunday's evening display, simply email us at ccsolutions716@gmail.com.
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvan Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
Looking for a fair and honest auto mechanic? Look no further than DeWyas Auto Service. Located at 140 Main Street in Randolph, our family-owned business is ready for all of your automotive needs. From general service to more complex repairs, count on DeWyas Auto to keep you on the road. We not only keep your cars running smoothly, but also looking great with our expert detailing crew. Send us a message on Facebook or call us today at 716-358-2292 to set up an appointment. DeWyas Auto Service. Fair, honest, and the best prices guaranteed.
When severe weather breaks, one team has you covered, tracking the storms as they happen. Catch your First Defense forecast daily on WNY News Now.
In a surprising turn of events, a judge rejected the plea deal for Nushim Hassan, the operator of a limo company involved in a deadly crash in New York State. Hassan appeared in court Tuesday for sentencing in connection with the 2019 Schoharie crash. He pleaded guilty last year in exchange for the sentencing of 5 years probation, avoiding jail time. The judge, who was not presiding over the case when the deal was reached a year ago, favored time behind bars for Hassan. He was given the option to accept 1 to 4 years in prison or withdraw his guilty plea. The judge's rejection caught Hassan and his attorneys off guard. Hassan's defense attorney agreed to vacate the guilty plea. The 20-count indictment is reinstated, and now the case is scheduled for trial. That crash killed the limo driver, 17 passengers, and 2 bystanders. A new bill introduced by State Senator George Borrello aims to increase a tax exemption for clothing and footwear sales here in New York State. Borrello's bill would increase the current exemption from $110 to $250. He says the current state exemption on clothing and footwear has not changed since 1998, and with the recent jump in inflation, it's time to help New Yorkers. The exemption would not apply to local sales taxes unless specific counties or cities provided their own exemption. And in early June, Governor Kathy Hochul signed a comprehensive legislative package to strengthen New York's gun laws and close critical loopholes exposed in tragic shootings. Those gun laws taking effect starting today. Our New York State Capitol correspondent Elise Klein has more.
But I want New Yorkers to know that we'll always stand up, protect their lives, their livelihoods, their families, their neighborhoods, because that's our responsibility, one I take very seriously.
The new laws will provide a number of safeguards for New Yorkers, including prohibiting concealed carry in sensitive locations, requiring gun safety training to acquire a permit, and strengthening more comprehensive background checks. It will also require monthly check-ins on permit holders to determine if they have criminal convictions or court orders that may disqualify them from having concealed carry permits.
So we're not just talking about wanting these changes to happen, we're making them happen.
The sensitive locations where it will be illegal to bring a firearm range from schools and daycare facilities to Times Square in New York City.
We'll make sure that New Yorkers are safe.
In Albany, Elise Klein, WNY News.
Elise, thank you. At the Pennsylvania State Capitol yesterday, dozens of advocates and family shared stories, laughter, and tears to mark International Overdose Awareness Day. It was organized by nonprofits and family members who lost a loved one due to an overdose. Hundreds of pictures and cherished items placed by families and friends covered the stairs of the Capitol. Each year, the message is to raise awareness and reduce stigma surrounding substance use disorders.
And too often we hear, why did you allow that to happen? Or, you're an enabler, or all these horrible things that are said to us family members. So it's time that, we need to stand up and come together and make a change.
Advocates say this year's Awareness Day is especially important, with fatal overdoses on the rise, surpassing 100,000 in 2021. Coming up, how do you feel about your work productivity being tracked by employers? A look at this growing concern next. And later, grape season coming to an end, we hear from local vineyards who are ready to harvest their crop. But first, Dakota returns with a full look at our weather forecast and that coveted Labor Day weekend.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
I'm a survivor.
I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor.
Testicular cancer is the leading form of cancer in men aged 15 to 35.
1 in 250 men will be diagnosed with testicular cancer.
But 98% will survive if detected early.
As a survivor, I believe early detection is the key. Learn how to do a testicular self-exam and other important facts about testicular cancer at oneball4tc.com.
How prepared is your family if a hurricane shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a blizzard? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
let's go.
You'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza. Yes.
Make a plan today.
Calling all teachers. Get your year started off right with an evening with Gary Brooks. Come see Gary as he shares his funniest school stories and strategies to build a positive school culture. Go to reginaldaid.com for tickets and more information.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news.
Fast, accurate, and everyday. First Defense Weather.
Welcome back, everybody. Wanted to start off with this amazing picture from our friend Don of a seagull in flight. And, sometimes, birds are some amazing creatures. And so he was able to capture of a seagull up in flight. So if you have any pictures or videos of the weather, Hunters WX on Twitter, the First Defense Weather page on Facebook, and always use that hashtag MyLocalWX. And since we are into meteorological fall, we ended meteorological summer yesterday. So let's take a look at where we came out for the summer season. 66 was the coldest day. That was on June 6th. The warmest day we had all summer was on June 22nd, where we hit 90 degrees. First time in several years we officially hit 90 at the airport. 68.1 degrees is the average temperature. That's just about 1 degree above normal, so not too bad. The bigger problem is this. We've been talking about it all summer. 8.95 inches worth of rain. That's down 3.5 inches for the summer season. So we are still in a rainfall deficit, and as we mentioned yesterday, that's not a good thing heading into the fall season. But it's chilly out there. Chilly by our standards. 65 as of noon hour, but it is still a bit breezy. A west wind of 13, the dew point at 44, so the dew point is much cooler today. Hey, if you have a tea time today, fantastic. 70 degrees at 2, 73 at 4, and 70 at 6. Lots of sunshine out there with a wind averaging out of the west at 5 to 10. So an overall nice day out there, but the Labor Day weekend is fast approaching, and a lot of you probably have not yet closed your pools, which would be a good idea. And so you can see here, lots of sunshine tomorrow, 83 on Saturday, a few clouds. We will bring in a few showers on Sunday, but not all day rain. It's scattered rain. There's our weak boundary that moved on through. High pressure now built in across the northeast. So this high pressure ridge is going to stay with us for the next couple of days. Quick look at the tropics, because we now have Tropical Storm Danielle out here in the Atlantic. This is far away from land. Here's Nova Scotia. derecho way up here. So just to give you a reference of where this is not going to impact land, but this is ultimately likely going to become at least a Category 1 hurricane before it dissipates. But we are now in the peak of hurricane season, and the Hurricane Center is watching 2 areas of tropical development here. Whichever one forms first, it'll be given the name Earl. So let's take you back to home. The time is moving, but the weather ain't changing. Look at this. Lots of sunshine through the day today. We're going to keep it going into tonight. Mainly clear skies tonight. Great for stargazing. Tomorrow morning, maybe a few clouds down across northwestern PA, but otherwise, I think tomorrow will be a nice day. We will start to bring in a few more clouds late in the day on Friday. Then the clouds will start to thicken up a little bit as we go into Saturday. There is a small chance of a shower on Saturday, but I think much of the day will be dry. Now the next 7 days powered by Ultimate Satellite Solutions. So 83 both Friday and Saturday. There's that small chance for that shower on Sunday. Labor Day, a pair of 7s, good amount of sunshine. Kids go back to school Tuesday, 78, and we'll be back around 80, Justin, by next Wednesday.
Yeah, certainly getting back to school. They'll be wanting to get back out there and play.
I know.
Dakota, thank you very much. Well, let's get some headlines from around the nation now. And President Biden is set to give a speech on what he calls the continued battle for the soul of the nation. That during a primetime address in Pennsylvania tonight. White House officials say Biden will touch on what's at stake in our democracy, as well as the progress his administration has made in protecting the nation's core values. Biden will give these remarks in front of Independence Hall as he makes the case for America's democracy, which he says is still under attack. This speech comes just a week after the president returned to the campaign trail and criticized Republicans who have questioned the 2020 election results. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration is now authorizing updated COVID vaccine booster shots for Moderna and Pfizer. It's the first time updated vaccines have received emergency use authorization in the U.S. Both, combined with the original vaccine, will target the BA4 and BA5 Omicron subvariants. The companies submitted applications to the FDA for emergency use authorization for the updated vaccines last week. Now, shots can be administered only after the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention gives their okay too. Well, how do you feel about your work productivity being tracked by employers? That's an ongoing concern among workers in many industries. People concerned they could be penalized, even fired for their idle time. Our Washington, D.C. correspondent Rachel Knapp reports.
During your work shift, it's not uncommon to use the restroom or grab a drink of water, or even step away from the computer for a few minutes and take a work call or jot down some notes on paper. But more and more companies are using technologies to monitor your productivity, even monitoring time you're not working. And so some of these pauses could lead to penalties like losing pay or even losing your job. While many companies argue this sort of monitoring will help increase productivity, Senator Bob Casey calls it invasive.
Why should someone be penalized in a workplace if they're taking that kind of a break? It comes down to a question of what's the appropriate use of technology in the workplace.
Casey recently sent the Department of Labor a letter urging them to look into this growing trend by employers, concerned there's little oversight and accountability on how these technologies are impacting workers across the labor market.
We've got to make sure that our regulatory process and our laws keep up with those advances in technology. And in the workplace, when you have employers now that are able to track employees, monitor them, and use that technology to take action against workers.
Casey says recently the Federal Trade Commission announced they're looking into harmful commercial surveillance with potential rulemaking on that. He hopes the Department of Labor will do the same thing, adding that if the department needs additional help in protecting workers' privacy, he'll be ready to help.
But if they need additional statutory authority, I'm going to be ready to introduce it and to lead the effort to pass it into law.
At the Capitol, Rachel Knapp reporting.
Rachel, thank you. You can read Senator Casey's full letter to the Department of Labor online at WNYNewsNow.com. Coming up next, we hear from grape growers ahead of their fall harvest. How has their season been going?
Catch your First Defense forecast daily on WNY News Now.
Slow
slow down and move over.
Move over.
When you see signs,
Lights.
Vests.
please give us some room.
Slow down.
Slow down and move over.
When you need help,
It's our job
To help you.
to save you.
despite the danger.
This danger is real.
Do your part.
Please
Slow down. Slow down. And move over.
move over.
Hey ladies, are you looking for a fun night out on the town this fall? We have the event for you. Join Collaborative Children's Solutions as we celebrate the women of our community during a special Ladies Red Carpet Gala. Grab your friends and fanciest clothes for a night of dancing at the Northwest Arena in Jamestown, New York. There will be dessert and a cash bar. All proceeds directly benefit Collaborative Children's Solutions. Learn more at ccsolutions716.com.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
He makes fun of his friend who vapes.
He would never try it.
She's into soccer.
She's on the honor roll.
She's just not the type.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way, my kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping, maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news.
We've dealt with changing weather conditions over the past few days and nights, and we've even seen much needed rain. But our very hot, dry weather this summer has made for an absolutely perfect growing season for the region's grape crop, which produces wine in the Lake Erie wine country. Erie News Now's Lisa Adams headed to Northeast PA to check out the grapes.
These are the images that paint the picture of the Lake Erie shoreline from Northeast PA to Westfield, New York. Acre upon acre of lush grape vineyards.
I do know there's about 30,000 acres between Westfield and Northeast, and that makes the largest grape growing region east of the Rocky Mountains.
We visited the 5 acres of Concord grapes at Lakeview Wine Cellars, where grower and winemaker Sam Best showed us the cream of his crop. From an early bud break and bloom to the bunches on the vines now, the weather has been ideal.
We didn't have rain during the bloom, so it wasn't knocking the little pistils off of the grapes, so we had a good fruit set. We probably have 30 to 40 tons of grapes hanging on the vine now. Usually we shoot for between 30 and 35, and we've exceeded that this year.
The grapes on the vine here in Northeast are just starting to turn that beautiful purple Concord color, but they're not quite ripe yet. It will be about another month before they start picking, and it's all about the sugar content, making sure they're just right.
We're probably about 30 days away. If we keep getting the nice warm days and the cooler nights, that brings the sugar up in the grapevines, and the grapes have a tendency to ripen a little nicer and more full.
While some growers watered wine grapes this hot, dry summer, the old grapevines with roots 5 to 15 feet deep didn't need the help.
We don't have to do that so much with Concords, Niagaras, Native Americans. The roots are a little deeper, they absorb more water, and we've had the right amount of rain at the right time for our crops. I couldn't be more excited. It's going to be a beautiful year.
Lisa Adams, Erie News Now.
Lisa, thank you very much. And certainly such an important aspect, I think, really of our economy here, Dakota, where people not only, they obviously come and buy wines, and they get shipped all over the world, and other products too, right? Like there's Welch's and things like that. It's not just the vineyards for wine drinking, but to that tourism aspect of it, where people come and check out the grapes. And unless you're from this area, I think a lot of people, one of the first things they do is you just smell the air.
Yep.
Especially when they're harvesting. I love that in Fredonia. You stop, you smell the air.
You
It's
drive on,
so good.
You drive on Route 20. You can smell the grapes as they're harvesting them. It is fantastic, and I mean, especially for us here, in Chautauqua County, we are the largest grape producer on the East Coast.
Yeah.
So
and it's such an important thing. So it's good to see that they're having great yields from that too this year. Well, that is going to do it for us today. Now that I want a nice glass of Pinot. We were talking about Olive Garden, of all places, before the show. And, of course, we don't eat lunch yet, Dakota and I. We eat after.
Yep.
So I'm starving. So let's go get some wine and some pasta.
Okay.
What do you say? All right.
I'm out. Goodbye.
Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you back here tomorrow for ITGIF.